All right, let's just jump right in. Right under our feet, there's this hidden, incredibly complex, and absolutely vital world. I mean, we walk on it every single day, but we almost never think about what's really going on down there. So today, we're going to go way beyond the surface and uncover the living system that really sustains all life on this planet. So let me start by asking you a question. It sounds really simple, but honestly, the answer changes everything. What's the actual difference between, well, the stuff you might call dirt and what scientists call soil? I mean, really think about it for a second. Are they just two words for the same thing? Okay, here's the big reveal. Dirt? Well, dirt is basically just lifeless stuff. It's inert. But soil? Oh, soil is a living, breathing world. It's like a bustling city packed with microorganisms, fungi, and all this organic matter, all working together in this incredibly delicate balance. And that is the core idea for this whole explainer: soil is alive. So if we want to understand this living world, we've got to go back in time. And I mean way back. It turns out every single grain of soil has this epic origin story, a journey that takes millions of years. So let's dig into how it's actually born. Right, so there's a scientific name for this incredible transformation from solid rock into soil. It's called Pedogenesis, and it's this super slow, really complex, but kind of beautiful process that builds the very foundation of our ecosystems, from the ground up. It all starts with ancient rock. And when I say slow, I am not kidding. It is unbelievably slow. Get this, to form just a single inch of the topsoil we need to grow our food, it can take anywhere from 500 to 1,000 years, a whole millennium, for just 1 inch. It's wild. So how in the world does this even happen? Well, you can think of it as a team effort between 3 main architects. First up, you've got physical weathering. This is just the brute force of nature, right? Water getting into cracks in a rock, freezing, expanding, and slowly prying it apart. Then you've got chemical weathering. This is where chemical reactions like rust, oxidation, literally change the rock's chemistry. And finally, and this is my favorite, you have biological weathering. This is where life itself gets involved. Plant roots, fungi, lichens, they all release these gentle acids that dissolve the rock and unlock all the minerals inside. It's this constant, super patient partnership. Okay, so we've got our broken down rock particles, but believe it or not, that's just the very beginning of the story. Now, let's check out how these simple little particles come together to build this incredible architecture of life. We're going to go inside the soil and see what it's really made of. This is basically the perfect recipe for healthy living soil. As you can see, about half of it is what you'd expect, minerals, sand, silt, and clay. But the other half is where it gets really interesting. A full 25% is just water, and another 25% is air, all held in the little empty spaces. And that tiny little 5% slice, well, that's the matter. And trust me, it's the absolute powerhouse of the whole system. There is this quote that I think just captures it perfectly. It says, "The minerals are the skeleton of the soil. They give it its structure, but it's the organic matter, all that decaying plant stuff and microbes, that gives the soil its life, its fertility, its soul. That's what turns a lifeless mineral skeleton into a living, breathing body." And when we talk about life in the soil, I mean, the scale is just staggering. It's hard to even wrap your head around. We're talking more than 1 billion. That's how many tiny microbes can be living in a single gram of healthy topsoil. A single gram. It is by far the most diverse habitat on the entire planet. Okay, remember that 50% of the soil that was just air and water? Well, that space is called pore space. And you can basically think of it as the soil's lungs. And this here shows you exactly why that's so critical. On the left, you've got healthy soil. It's fluffy, it's full of open pores, it can breathe easily. But on the right, you see what happens when it gets compacted. All those spaces get squeezed shut. The soil literally chokes, and that starves all the life inside that needs oxygen and can even cause you to lose vital nutrients like nitrogen. All right, so now we know what soil is made of and how it breathes. Let's talk about what it actually does. Because soil is kind of like the planet's quiet, unsung hero. It's this engineer that's performing all these incredible world-sustaining jobs every single day. We're talking about its superpowers. Let's kick things off with a huge one: storing carbon. I mean, just look at this chart. The world's soils hold something like 2,500 gigatons of carbon. Now, what does that number even mean?
Well, it means there's more carbon stored in soil than in our entire atmosphere and all the world's plants and trees put together. Healthy soil is this massive and, frankly, often overlooked player when it comes to regulating our climate.
Okay, next superpower, water. Healthy soil is basically a giant sponge. And this next fact is it's mind-blowing. For every 1% increase you get in that vital organic matter, the soil can hold an extra 20,000 liters of water per hectare. 20,000! In a world where we're seeing more droughts and more floods, having this natural sponge is absolutely critical. So just to recap, these are the big four. The primary jobs that soil does for us, completely free of charge. It stores carbon. It filters and holds our water. It cycles all the nutrients needed to grow our food. And it's the foundation for almost all life on land. It really is the engine of the planet. But, and this is a big but, this vital living system is in serious trouble. It's incredibly resilient, but it's not invincible. And right now, it is facing some massive threats that are putting everything from our food security to our climate stability at risk. And just to give you a sense of the scale of this crisis, look at this number, 24 times billion tons. Let that sink in for a second. That is the amount of precious, fertile topsoil that we lose across the globe to erosion every single year. It's an absolutely staggering amount to even think about. And, erosion is just part of the problem. We've got compaction from heavy machinery that's crushing those soil lungs we were just talking about. Then there are intensive farming practices that are just burning through that precious organic matter way faster than nature can replace it. And of course, we're literally paving over our best farmland, sealing it under concrete and asphalt forever. Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but this isn't meant to be a story about doom and gloom. It's really about understanding. And the truly great news is that we actually know how to fix this. There is a clear, really hopeful path forward to restore the health of our living soils. And the solutions, they really just follow a clear set of principles. It's not about finding one magic bullet. It's about a whole new approach. First, we have to rebuild that all-important organic matter. Then, we need to manage nutrients in a smarter way, using biology instead of just harsh chemicals. We also have to restore the soil's structure, mainly by tilling it and disturbing it less. And finally, we've got to bring back the biodiversity, the fungi, the worms, all those microbes that really make the whole system tick. So let's end on this one thought. We've seen how soil is literally the foundation of our food, our water, our climate, pretty much everything. It supports us in every possible way. So the real question we have to ask ourselves now is, are we doing enough to support it in return? Are we being a good foundation for the life in the soil?